Hi, class. So for this assignment, we are actually going to work in Revit. So Revit is a building information modeling software or BIM software. And so I'm going to create the exterior of the tiny home that I designed in Revit, or at least a simplified version of that. And so I have my AutoCAD file open just for reference, and I'm going to put that on my other screen. And that's just in case I need to look at any dimensions or anything like that. And I'm going to select Revit 2024 here. This is on the remote desktop. And I'm going to open this up. And so this assignment is not to give you a detailed tutorial on how to use Revit or anything like that. It's just to get you exposed to the software and kind of just see what it's about. I'm just going to select do not load for this. And you can definitely take other classes in the future that will go over Revit in detail. It's a very powerful program. And so here you'll just kind of get a little taster of it. Okay. And so here it has models, families. I want to open up a new model. So I'm going to select new right here. Imperial multidiscipline is good. The other one is metric. We want to stick with imperial because, or at least I do, because I created all my measurements on my tiny home in imperial. And I'm going to say create new project and okay. All right, and so it's loading right now. This is the main interface. And here we go. This is the main preview area in the center. I have some panels here on the left and a ribbon here at the top. This contains the main drawing and editing tools. And we're going to be using some of these tools from the architecture tab. And so to move around your view, it's similar to AutoCAD actually. You can click the scroll wheel to pan, click and hold the scroll wheel to pan. You can zoom in and out. And yeah, you'll find that there are some similar things to AutoCAD as we go through this process. So I'm going to start by drawing the exterior walls of my tiny home. And so this will be to the dimensions that I set mine to. Yours will be to whatever dimensions you set yours to. But keep in mind, this is just, like I said, this is an exposure to this program. If your tiny home has a very complicated design, feel free to simplify it. This isn't going to be exact. It doesn't need to be exact. Um, this assignment's very forgiving, actually. So I'm starting here on the floor plan. This is a bird's eye view of what our model is going to be. I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. And I'm going to start by creating my wall. So I'm going to go here to wall. And it opens up this property panel. And so from here, I can select different walls. There's lots of options. Go ahead and read through them and select the one that you see is best fit for you. I'm just going to select this generic 6-inch wall because I made my exterior wall 6 inches. And then it's starting on level 1. Level 1 is just the ground level. And I can change the height here if I want. I can also edit it later if I need to. Let's go ahead and change it now. So I need it to be 9 feet 2 inches. So I'm going to do 9 and then the apostrophe for the feet symbol. I'm not going to put a dash. I'm just going to put a 2 and then a quotation mark for the inches symbol and then enter. Okay, and so now it says modify place wall. So I'm in my command and I could just start placing the walls here. Oh, and actually one more thing I realized now, this is measuring from the wall center line. I have my exterior walls measuring from the exterior of each face. So let me go ahead and just pull this over. So it's 24 feet, and that's the outside face to outside face. And then 13 feet, 6 inches from this outside to this outside. So I'm going to actually change this. Oh, and just like AutoCAD, to escape a command or exit a command, I'm going to hit the escape button. And I'm going to change this to finish face exterior. Okay, and then now I'll go ahead and draw my wall. So 24 feet, and then 13 feet, 6 inches. There we go. And I just kind of hovered over that to create the placement of that wall. So like I said, similar to AutoCAD in a lot of ways. Okay, and Revit will automatically join walls together if they intersect, so that's pretty nice. And if there is anything I need to edit, I can go ahead and select this. Or actually, before I do that, let me go ahead and exit all the way. So I press escape twice. Right now, if I select this, I can change things if I need to. Maybe I need to change the height or I want to make it connected, whatever it is. So right now, these are kind of individual walls. If I select this and then do control, 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 so control select, control select, control select, that will select multiple objects. And I can change this to connected or up to level 1, up to level 2. Oh, I guess I can't change it to connected. So I'm just going to leave it as that, but I could change the height if I need to. So on and so forth. And so this is a bird's eye view. If I want to see a 3D view of this, I can go up here to the view tab. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to select 3D view. And that opened up a new window with a new view. And I can see these walls are now erected in 3D. So from here, I can add doors and windows if I would like to. I can also do that from the level 1 floor plan. For my building, I have 2 levels. I have a level 1 and level 2. So I'm going to go ahead and create my second level. So I could go over here to floor plans, select level 2. I'm going to double click that. And so that brought up a new view. And this is kind of a lightly shaded gray. If I look back here, it's a darker color. But this is a new level and this is the walls beneath. And so that's why it's a lighter color. And I'm just going to go back to architecture tab and add in my walls here. Okay, and so I want to be sure to select the outside one so that way I get the correct size. If I select this one, it's going to create my my walls from that interior line. So I'll escape that. Let's go back here again. And I will start by selecting these outside walls like so, and then escape. Okay, and so now let's see what this looks like in 3D. I'm going to escape again. Okay, so I just created my second level, but there's a couple things wrong. The wall height needs to be adjusted. And also there's this huge gap between my level 1 and level 2. So if I look at the elevation views, that is like the side views. And I went ahead and clicked that little plus sign. And I can see that I can look at the elevations from the east, north, south, and west side of the building. I'll go ahead and select south. I'll double click on here. And here I can easily see that the reason these walls were built and there's this gap between is because they were built on level 2. And level 2 doesn't start until 12 feet. And the height of my level 1 was 9 feet 2 inches. So I need to adjust this level 2 height. So it's 9 feet and 2 inches. I'll do enter. And then that brought everything from level 2 down. And I also need to adjust the height of this. I can select it and I can adjust it like so, although that's only selecting the one. Notice how I have it still selected. I can go to another tab like the 3D or the level 2 tab. And I can see, okay, I have this one selected still, and the adjustments were made automatically in each view, which is really nice. So I'm going to select this one, this one, this one, and this one. I did control to select all of those, and I want to change the height of this. Let's see, I'm going to change it to 3 feet 4 inches. Oops. 3 feet 4 inches. There we go. And I'm going to go back to the architectural, sorry, the elevation view, the south elevation view. And I'm going to add another level because I need to add a roof, and I can't add the roof to level 2 or else it's going to go through this building. I had to add it on a third level up here. So to do that, you need to go to the elevation view, and then you can go up here to level. It's under this little datum panel. And here I can either go over here, I could hover over this one and set it like so. And if I need to, I could just manually adjust this as well. So I could go in here and I can adjust it as needed. So if I needed a 13-foot level for where I want to have my ceiling, I would do so like there. But I do want it to be 12 feet 6 inches. So here we go. So I adjusted that level and I added that level. Let's go ahead and add some windows and doors. So I can do that either in my plan views or in my 3D view, whatever you see fit. So I'll do it, I'll start with the 3D view. And I'm just going to go up here, once again, architecture tab. I'm going to go to door and I'm going to select the type of door that I want. So I have a door over here. I'll just, let's see here. I guess you can make it a little bit taller. They're all 3 feet wide. I'll have a taller door. And I'm just going to roughly place this actually. I'm not going to have it be super exact because it's not even necessarily the exact size that the exact size door that I specified in my original drawing. And then same with this one. Let's see. I want it to be, well, let me escape here. Oops, I did it twice by accident. Let me go back to door. And I want it to be a double door for this other one. So let's see here. I can do, guess it doesn't matter too much. I'll go ahead and do this one. I'm just going to roughly place that. And I'm going to do the same thing for my windows. So I'm going to go back to architecture. This time I'll select window. And you can select from different windows. You probably won't find the exact dimensions of the window that you specified in your drawing. And so go ahead and just play with it and see what you like for this Revit assignment. Kind of want a big window over here. So I'll put a big window here. And then I can also, actually, let me go back. I went ahead and escape that. I'm going to go to level 1. If I go here to window and I wanted to place it here on the plan view, I can do so as well because it's a little bit easier for me in some ways to see the dimensions of that. but I can't tell the height, but you can specify the windowsill height here. So maybe I want it like, I don't know, 2 feet from the ground, starting there. So I can go here, I could place it, and then I can look at my 3D view and I can see where that's at. And if I want, I can adjust it. I could bring it down a little bit more if I want to. Um, it's up to you. So I'll just undo that. And then I'll go back here to level 1 and add a couple more windows. So let's see here. I'll just do a fixed window over here, a smaller one on this side, and see how that looks. Okay, so I just did my level 1 windows and doors for now. Let me go ahead and add a roof. So let's go back to, I'm going to go to level 2 and I'll add my roof here so I can see it. And so I'm here under architecture. I'm going to go to roof and then roof by footprint. And you can once again choose from a number of different roofs. It's up to you. I'll go ahead and choose this one. And I'm just going to select my footprint. So I'm going to select this wall, this wall, this wall, and this wall. And you can specify the overhang if you would like. You can automatically create this roof by keeping that defined slopes there. So let me put a 2-foot overhang on this, and I'll show you what it looks like just by kind of doing the automatic defined slopes. So I'll say finish. Would you like to attach the highlighted walls to the roof? Sure. So that's like if I move the walls, it should move with it, I think. And so I'll just say attach. It doesn't really matter though. Okay, and then let's look at what that looks like in 3D. All right, and so this is my roof, although actually did not add the overhang, I'm noticing now. So let me try that again. I'll delete this one. I'm going to do it again. Overhang, I'll say, no, let me say don't attach. Maybe that's the difference. Here we go. Oops. And look what I did. I put it on the wrong level. So let me go ahead and select this roof base level. I don't want it on level 2. I want it on level 3. There, that looks much better. And so now I have a roof here. And if I wanted, I can just keep it like this. I would actually extend my level 2 to be higher, keep this roof here, um, to simplify, you know, this assignment here. However, I am going to, if I open my AutoCAD, I have this shed roof and I'm going to put in that shed roof. So let me delete this roof and I'll go back to level 2 and I'm going to draw that roof one more time. 2-inch overhang. This time I'm going to turn off this fine slopes. And so actually notice right here, this line is now on the inside. It's because I selected the wrong line. So let me delete this. I'll select that and then delete. Okay, I'm still in my command. Oop, let me press X. Okay. And actually, before I forget, let me go ahead and save this because I don't want to lose any of my progress. I'm going to find the appropriate folder and I will name this 7.1 tiny home in Revit. That's going to create an RVT file. So we'll just give it a little bit more time to finish saving. It's a big program, so it does take some time. There we go. Oh, just kidding. Okay, there we go. And actually, kind of want to change this window. I like the double hung. There we go. And I'll have it the same, about the same height. Let's see here. Shift. Oh no, maybe I don't want it too tall because it's pretty tall. Actually, I'll look at this one. It'll be a little easier. Okay, that's fine. All right. Let me go back to creating this roof. Okay, so roof. And if I select this inside line, that's going to create the overhang the wrong way. So that's going to give me a really weird roof. I want to select the outside line. And I'm going to turn off define slopes. And I'm going to change the base level to 3. And I'll just say okay. And let's see what that looks like in 3D. So now I have this very flat roof. And I'm going to select that roof and I'm going to select edit footprint. So that way I can add that slope. And I'm going to do that by, let me change my view a little bit, by adding a slope arrow. And so I'm going to have it go from here and down. There we go. I can just say okay. And I would do attach, although I'm surprised it's saying this right now. Let's say, I'm going to say don't attach for now. Okay, it actually automatically put a slope, but it did it the wrong way. So let me go ahead and specify how I need to do this. So I put my slope arrow. Let's see here. Okay, here's my slope arrow. And I want to, I'll say, so height at tail and height at head. So my head, I want it to be at 0. Then I'm going to specify the height of the tail because I need this side to be what's raised up. And I'm referring to my AutoCAD file to see where I need that to be. I need it to be, looks like 7 feet up. And there's different ways I could have done this. I could have also just defined the actual slope. So if I knew what that was, I didn't know what it was, so I did the height of the tail. And let's see what that looks like. Okay, so now the correct side is raised up, and I do want to attach the walls because I want the walls to go up. So I'll say attach. There we go. And now my walls are where I want them to be. Okay, and so now I can add a couple more windows in here. I could do fixed window. Let's see, double hung. I'll do this so that way it can open up. I'm just gonna add a couple more windows. Actually, maybe I'll do this one so that way it matches the bottom. That's a little bit bigger though. Let's say I said I must have selected that smaller one. No, just kidding. I'm just gonna add a different kind of window. So yeah, go ahead and add windows and doors how you see fit. Like I said, you might not find your exact design in here. And so just feel free to kind of play with it. I'll put another one right. Maybe a different kind. It looks a little funky. It's just because of the view. There we go. That's fine. Okay. All right. And so there I've created a very simple, very easy little tiny home. I'm going to save this in Revit. It's not designed to the exact one that I had drawn in AutoCAD, but it resembles it somewhat. And I could have changed that roof if I didn't feel like messing with this slope to a different roof if I wanted to also. So feel free to make this design as close to your AutoCAD design as you see fit. You want it to be, you know, not too difficult, not too complicated for you. But of course, I also encourage you always to challenge yourself. So you could go ahead and play with some things in here. Like I said, we just did the exterior elevations. And this is just to get you a little bit of exposure to Revit and see what this software is about. And so for your portfolio, what you could do is you can just take some screenshots of this and put it into your portfolio. So this is on the remote desktop, I could say new snipping tool, and I can take a snippet of this and I can save it. And I'm going to make sure I select the appropriate folder because if I don't, then I'm not going to be able to find this later. And I can say isometric view, tiny home. And I can add it to my portfolio that way. So I can also do an elevation view if I'd like right here. And then I could even include some of this up here to show that it's in Revit. I'll do one more. Then now I can add this to my portfolio as well, just to show, I've had a little bit of exposure to it, although, like I said, this is not a full detailed tutorial on how to use Revit or anything like that. You can actually find some of those on YouTube and the likes. And we, of course, offer courses that do go over Revit in this program in detail. And I encourage you guys to check those out. Okay, so have fun with this project. And if you have any questions, of course, send me a message. All right, thank you.